Going live. Yay. It's time. Yay. It's time. I can still hear you. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everybody had a good weekend. As you pop on, say hi. Tell me where you're calling from. It's like an old school radio show. Where are you calling from? What are you requesting? Where you are, what project you're working on. And I'm going to try and see everybody's comments in a decent way here. Hey, Julie, Tammy, and Tammy. Hi, Marcina. Oh, every once in a while, I think I've got this down, and then I don't. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Angela. Angie. Hi, Sherry. Oh, I love that you guys pop right on, even though I forgot to create an event last week. I'm gonna write myself a note, and Melissa probably texted me a note to remind me to create events for the next couple weeks, but I forgot. Create Facebook events. Hi, Terry. Melissa knitting around and around. Yes, lots of that going on. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Denny. Jackie, I figured it was hello, but could be heyo. Rosaria, hello from Howell. Julie, working on your rose window tee. Are you probably on the body of that by now? I can't wait to see it when it's done. Hi, Nicole. So did everybody have a good weekend? It was hot. It is hot. It's muggy. It's definitely August in Michigan, but I will take it. I'm not ready for cold, not ready for school. I'm okay with 80 degrees and 80% humidity. Kathy, you have 6 things going. Of course, don't we all? One of these weeks, maybe I'll just bring all of my works in progress in and show you guys so nobody feels bad about the number of things they have going on right now. Oh, Marcina finished your summer sorrel. Awesome. Oh, Rosaria says there are problems with the video. You guys let me know if you're having issues. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Mary. Yeah, it would be fun to see all my projects. Hi, E. Stephanie, definitely not ready for school. Nope. Victoria's not either. We went to Secretary of State office today. That was an experience we haven't done in a while. Her first experience. I can talk about that later. Mary can hear and see me. Excellent. Okay, good. All right. Well, it's 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Monday Motivation. Today is Monday, August 9th, 2021. My name's Kristen. I'm the owner of the Little Yarn Shoppe located in downtown Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SVRC Marketplace. Shop hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We just got done with the I-75 yarn crawl. It was an interesting 8 days, nine days. I think I was open. It started a week ago Friday and went through this past Saturday. Lots of really cool people to meet, lots of people coming from out of town. It was a really great time. Sorry, my computer's popping up all kinds of stuff here. Hi, Joyce. E, working on your baby sweater, the ranunculus. One of these days I should ask you to bring all of your ranunculus sweaters in so we can show them how versatile that pattern is. We can just kind of lay out a whole table of ranunculus sweaters. That'd be kind of cool. Hi, Mary Kay. Tammy, how did you not know the rose window tea was a thing? Well, add that to your list of to-dos. I finally started using the Ravelry queue. I always use favorites and the library, but I started using the queue to actually keep track of the projects that I say, oh, I should use this yarn to make that thing, because otherwise I'm not going to remember. Hi, Lisa, working on your fireworks. Hi, Christina. Hi, Mom. So as I was saying, just got done with the I-75 yarn crawl. For those of you that don't know or haven't heard me talk about it before, it's an annual event that happens. I don't know if she has a specific time, if it's like the first week of August or how the organizer decides that, but every summer there's a shop down in Ohio, the Rabbit Hutch Beads, I think it's called. They organize this shop hop yarn crawl that goes all along the I-75 corridor in Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And primarily people from out of state I got were from Ohio, a lot of Southern Ohioans, which I thought was kind of cool because they're pretty lucky that they're centrally located. So they could go north or south and still see a bunch of different shops. Every shop had the opportunity to do something different as a promotion. Any of you that have been watching know that I had custom yarns dyed for the shop in kind of parallel between our anniversary being in September and the yarn crawl going on. That went over fantastically. In fact, I sold out of two of our colorways so quickly, which is fantastic. I am putting one reorder in for the Dream in Color Smushy with Cashmere Saginaw Sunset yarn. I've got that here to talk about too, because I'm not going to reorder the Breediculous. That was a big enough batch that when it was gone, it was gone. This Dream in Color one, I need more of it in my life, and I think others do too. So it will still be a limited edition. Most likely this is the last time I'm going to reorder it. So if you didn't get any and you want some, let us know and we can add you to the list. Beth had a great time visiting for the first time during the yarn crawl. Excellent. And I'm glad you found me on here. That's fantastic. Holly working on 2 butterfly shawls, butterfly cowl, straightforward mitts, and another shawl. Changing up throughout the day. See, that's smart because you're not going to get as many repetitive injuries if you're working on different projects. At least that's my theory on things. So let's talk knitwear. What am I wearing? What have I finished? I finished the Meld cowl. I talked about this last week. You all voted and picked Victoria's choice of colors. The yarn is my third color. There it is. The yarn is Malabrigo Caprino. It's a DK weight, 50 grams, 164 yards. 80% superfine merino, 20% cashmere, and it's so lovely. So the cowl takes 3 colors. Victoria chose that. Well, Victoria suggested this, you all chose it. So this is the Meld cowl, and I had enough left over, so I'll take it off and show it. It's just a small cowl done in the round with a little V in the front. It's all garter. The original pattern isn't very clear in showing how the yarns change. In fact, I and a lot of people thought initially that it was only a 2-color shawl or 2-color cowl. With having 3 different, well, more different, how do I want to say that? Contrasting, there we go. 3 higher contrast colors, you can see kind of the fade effect, as they call it, for the cowl. So this is done in the round. It's garter in the round. So let's talk about garter in the round a little bit. Garter stitch is what you see are the ridges of a knit row and a purl row. Create those ridges. So you see all the bumps, you can stretch them out and see a knit row and a purl row. If you knit garter flat, you're knitting every row, knit across, knit back. That creates garter. If you're in the round, it's knit a row, purl a row. I tried because I don't like to purl. Many of you know. Oh, see, Melissa, you're asking me. It is knit in the round. I did not do jogless stripes. It doesn't show as much because it's garter. If it was stockinette, like some of the other cowls that we've done, then it shows a little bit more, but you can't really see it. So I started up here with the white, doing this method that I had seen a while back for those people that don't like to purl, where when you get to the end of your knit row, you can almost create it like a short row and do like a rapid turn and go back and knit the other way, rapid turn, go back and knit the other way. It does create this little bit of a ridge here. I decided I did not like how that looked, and probably I should just knit it the way the pattern's written if it's going to be a shop sample. So the rest of it, I did not do that like that. I just followed the way the pattern was written, changed the yarns when they told me to. And yeah, you can see it a little bit there, but it's the back of the cowl. I did actually weave my ends in. You can see them sticking out there because I did not wet block this. I was so I was so eager to get this in the shop as a sample. I did steam it, so I put it out on my ironing board with my iron and just held it over and steamed it. Hi, Jackie. Typically, I don't like to snip my ends shorter until after I've blocked it and they've kind of relaxed in a little bit. So that's the meld cowl. And I had enough yarn left over that I decided I needed to make a matching pair of fingerless mitts. So I looked at patterns and couldn't really find anything that I liked. So I ended up making up my own. And look at that. Aren't they cute? I decided I would kind of mirror the way they blended between the two, and switched it up a little bit though. So in the blue, it's garter. In the speckles, stockinette, and then in the white, it's ribbing. They're knit flat, then just seamed up, left a little thumb hole. Nothing overly complicated, but yeah, why not have all the matching things in the wool and the cashmere? If this little fingerless knit pattern is something that you are interested in, leave a comment, let me know. Once I get it written up, I'd be happy to email a PDF to you of it. So that's what I finished, and that's what I'm wearing. I am really only actively working on one project right now. Well, I sort of am working on the knit night scarf, and we need to talk about the knit night scarf a little bit because I did not realize that, oh, Melissa, kits on that, yes. So I have, before I go on to other things, I have one set available for a kit in the colors that I used. If you are interested in other colors, I would be happy to play around with you for that. Kit is $54, and that will include the meld pattern and my little bonus fingerless knit pattern. If you want to pre-order this kit, I can take your information too and get that ordered for you. Okay. Oh, you guys like the mitts? Awesome. I figure they're really, I mean, they're a great mindless knitting project and also would be really good for people practicing their skills, wanting to learn garter, wanting to learn stockinette and ribbing. So my knit night scarf. This is with our Saginaw Sunset color from Dream Color. So Dream Color yarn, Saginaw Sunset, washi with cashmere. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I have none of that left. Primarily between everybody that watches the Monday night videos, I was pretty much sold out in 2 days of what I had, which is, I appreciate that so much. I'm happy that people saw something that they loved. So I was working on this knit night scarf, which I thought was a great pattern. However, I did not realize that it has been out of print for a while and not even available on Ravelry. So I did reach out to the designer because it says in the description, it says that it's for sale, but there's no actual link to purchase it. So I am trying to reconcile that in a way that doesn't shortchange the designer. I don't want to do that by any stretch. So we are taking pre-orders for that. The shop is in the queue. Dream Color, really, they have like a 4 to 6 week lead time between when I place my order and when they are actually ready to dye my order. So the shop is in the queue waiting, and fairly soon I have to do a cutoff so they know exactly how much yarn they need to set aside for me to dye. But I just love it. Selfishly, I'm probably going to order enough to make myself a sweater. If that's something you're interested in. Here's another thing. Dream Color and Ridiculous, specifically those two dyers, are able to dye any of their colors on any of their bases. So if there's a color that you see, like the Saginaw Sunset color, and you want to custom order a different base yarn. So let's say you wanted it in, you saw this color, but you didn't want fingering weight. You wanted like a worsted weight with cashmere. So that would be their classy with cashmere. As long as it's an even quantity, like, I don't know if it's 3 or 6 that I have to order from them, I can do that too. So don't think that you're just limited to fingering weight for this next order. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know and I can get you pricing and that sort of thing too. Okay, Tammy, the knit night pattern. Yes, I gotta figure out how to get that out to people. So, and Ridiculous does the same thing. If there's a color that you see that you like in her fingering weight yarns and you think, oh, that would be a really cool bulky yarn, we can do that. I did get a couple bulky yarns from her too, and I don't even think I talked to you guys about those. Okay, so that's, I'm sort of working on the knit night, but primarily I am trying to make myself work on the slipping sideways pullover. So this one used the 2 colors of fingering weight yarn. I used a variegated and a solid. You knit these 2 panels, the central front and back panels first. Then you do this really fun, pick up all the stitches, add a neckline. I told myself today I was going to weave in ends. I did not do that today. I was really eager to pick up the second side though. So I got the first side done. I finished that today while we were waiting at the Secretary of State. So it's tough to see because the other side's all bunched up, but there's my one side. And I think this is just a fantastic design that reconciles for the argument or the number of people that argue they can't wear horizontal stripes. This little panel of horizontal stripes and then the vertical stripes on the side gives a slimming look. It's very graphic, and I think it's just really cool. The way it's written is I wasn't supposed to actually seam it or do the sleeve yet. I was just supposed to do all that long part on both sides, but I wanted to have one side done completely. So you end up folding it. I bet if I do this, it will look more accurate. So once I get all of that knitting done, you end up folding it in half and seaming down the underarm. They actually have you do a 3-needle bind off, which I did because I'm trying to follow the pattern. And it does add a little bit of structure versus initially I thought I would graft it like with Kitchener stitch. I don't mind doing that. I kind of like Kitchener, but it's going to be a little bit less secure or structured. So I went ahead, did that, finished the one sleeve. It's definitely would be easy to modify if you wanted longer sleeves. There are no decreases on the sleeves, but the way it has decreases down the shoulder, so there's a little different stitch pattern along the saddle, I guess, of the shoulder. You could modify it if you wanted to. So I knit it the way the pattern's written. It is very fitted. Again, it's sock yarn and it's heritage, so it will stretch and relax when I block it. But keep that in mind. That is something that I saw when I was looking at other people's projects too. So I'm excited. I feel like I can tell myself I'm more than 2/3 of the way done. So that's exciting for me. Melissa and I were talking about what my next sweater project should be. I have a few in my queue that are my next project. But I also want to get back to my purple Stillwater sweater that I was doing for July for the 4-day knit along, which clearly I did not finish in 4 days. And I don't know that I know too many of my customers that did finish their sweaters in 4 days, and there is no judgment and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm saying that just so those of you who are still working on it know that you are in great company. No rush. It's just kind of exciting to know that you're knitting on something along with other people. So that's what I am working on. What's coming up next for me is, speaking of, oh, one more thing. I'll show you guys what Victoria is working on. My daughter, I tried to convince her to come with me tonight, but she didn't want to. Is turning into truly my mini me. She has decided to cast on yet another project. I wasn't going to let her initially, but then she came back at me with this really solid argument. So I couldn't I couldn't dispute it too much. And clearly she has a thing for these colors. This is the yarn she picked. But her argument was, I don't have any shop samples knit up of anything out of this new Rasta. There's a fly flying around my face. The new Malabrigo Rasta book, Rasta Studio Style. So I mentioned it when I got the one copy. I do have more copies now, but every project in here uses Rasta, which is their super bulky yarn. They have this little, we used to call them Dickies. They don't call them Dickies anymore. Sweaterless towel, something. So lots of really cool patterns in here. She flipped through and found this indigo towel. Look at how cool that looks. I think the color they used is Lotus. It doesn't actually say in here, but Victoria picked this Costa. Rasta. The cowl takes 2 hanks approximately, oh, it does say lotus. Aha, look at that. The Rasta hanks are 150 grams, 90 yards each, so about 180 yards of super bulky yarn, size 15 needles. The books I do have available in the shop now, they're $19.95. So what's cool about it is it's a 2-row repeat, and well, that's the wrong side. There we go. That's the right side. It's knit flat and then seamed. So here's what she's got so far. And it's this really cool texture. Easy enough. I like these patterns where it's got a straight row of stitches and you can tell very quickly if you get off, if your lace gets off, because it's, I mean, it's lace, but it's a pretty simple lace. I thought she was off there for a minute, but she's not. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Again, I love how you can see the yarn in all the different forms and how different it looks. So yeah, she started that the other day, and really, I think Victoria only spent an hour or two on this, if that. So it's not going to take her long to finish that if she doesn't decide to start something else, yet another project. So that's that. Okay. What's coming up? That's where I was. Upcoming, starting August. That's the one date I did not write down. I believe it's August 14th. Casa Pinka's latest mystery knit along starts. So a mystery knit along means we know nothing or very little about what we're going to make. If you like the style of a designer, it's a great way to support them, have fun, and just try something new, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. So Casa Pinka is starting this, she's calling it the Snarkometer. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys, this fly is in my face. It does start August 14th. Okay, thank you. What I do know, it is a 6-week knit along. So every week for 6 weeks, you'll get a clue for a section of this project. I know it is a rectangular, I'm going to call it a wrap, not a shawl, because she gives approximate measurements of 20 inches by 64 inches. So it's like a really wide scarf or more of a narrow wrap. So it's rectangular. Her little sketch that she sends out when you purchase the pattern kind of shows that there's going to be a lot of interplay between the yarns. It's not going to be like one color, like color A, color B, color C, color D. It's going to be lots of little changes. And Casa Pinka does that with a lot of her patterns. So like if you look at that bright yellow one right up there, that is her Magical Thinking cowl and over the head shawl. And there's a lot of that too, where you're switching back and forth between different yarns. So the kits magically appeared in my shop today. I was tracking them via UPS's website, and it said it was delivered, and I didn't know where in the building they were ending up, but I got here and opened my door and there was a box from UPS here on the floor. So I have the kits for that. Melissa put the info in the notes. So Dream in Color was one of the dyers that partnered up with Casa Pinka to do these kits. It takes 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn, and what Dream in Color put together is their new base. It's called Suzette. So it's 50% superwash merino, 50% silk. I was going to say wool. Superwash merino is wool. So I pre-ordered kits, and a few of you did pre-order those also. I've got yours set aside. Don't worry about it. I have some left though. So I will show everybody the colors. It starts the 12th is Thursday. So next Saturday is when the first clue releases. Again, it's just like the fireworks cowl. If you don't have to, let me start over. You don't have to cast on the day it's released. it's just kind of fun to chat amongst people, to know that other people are working on the same thing you are. If people have questions, there's a lot of back and forth with answers for things. I will make sure that I try and put things in our craft along group. I wasn't very good about that with the fireworks, but I think this would be a fun one to do within that group too. So I don't have any spoilers. I have no clue. She didn't send us as shop owners any info ahead of time. So that's what I have. The little cards from Dream that they put in with the kits. So I have 4 different colorways available. They're 4 skeins each of this merino. I need to double check. 50% silk, 50% merino wool. I just pulled one out. I apologize. I forgot the little battery thing for my ring light. So colors aren't perfect, but they're generally okay. So you can see it's different in how the yarn is constructed. This is their Smushy with Cashmere. You can see it's quite a bit thinner than this new Suzette. The Suzette they call a light sport or heavy fingering yarn. They have 370 yards per skein. So I have 6 sets left of the teals, which I did post photos of a couple weeks ago, but to see them in person is just so different. Look, they match me. How I was going to leave them in the bags, but you guys know you can't see anything through the plastic. You need to see them in real life. This one here, do you see that little bit? It's like a minty green, and then it's got little bits of spring green in there. So the colors in this one are Mint Drop, True to Life, Bermuda Teal, and Torchwood. So that's the teals kit. If you see a kit that you're interested in, put it in the comments. Let us know what color you like and whether you would like it shipped to you or whether you're going to pick it up in the shop. Obviously, if you do want to start this next week when the first clue comes out, I want to get it to you ASAP. So that's the teals. It just doesn't look as good in the bag. Then I have 3 left of the pinks and greens. Oh, look at that. This bright pinky purple color is just, I don't think I've ever had that color in the shop before. Liberation I've had, not in this yarn, but I've had it in Smushy with Cashmere and Classy. Wineberry, Sonoran Magic, and Sprout. So that is just, look at this one. That ties them all together. So they're different enough that you can see no matter what 2 were together, you would be able to see any sort of contrasting pattern. That was one of the things that Dream or that Casapinka recommended, was that they were more, they recommended no more than one sort of variegated yarn. So I have Melissa. I know. They are gorgeous. Typically I tend to order more than one of the kit that I really want. So I have one set aside for me, and I didn't do that this time. So we shall see. We shall see. The next one is kind of it's the more muted, with a soft pink, a soft gray, this beautiful yellow, and then kind of a gray yellow. I love that we can do stuff like this and have it being neutral without it being like a true neutral. So I have 3 of these left too, and that's Pinky, Ghost Town, Sundance, and Cotton Wick. Look at that. I love, love, love the way Dream in Color does their tonals and their semi-solids. So this, it looks like a solid, but it's not. You can still see the lights and the darks. And look at that shine from the silk. Oh, you guys, I've not had this yarn in the shop before, and I need it. I need it all in my life. So that's the pale pinks and yellows. And the one that was most popular with pre-orders, and I only have a couple left, are the purples. I know. I'm surprised actually I had any teal left because a lot of you are teal lovers. But here are the purples. Look at that with that orange. This, let's see. So we've got Straw into Gold, Enchanted, Queen's Lake, and Divine. Look at that purple. This Enchanted, though, I haven't seen on any of their other yarns, and that is gorgeous. Look at that. It's like confetti cake, but a grown-up version of confetti cake. And really, if I were to order this in the future, it would be an easy one to match up with any of the other colors I looked at today, between that bright pink Liberation or one of the teals. But that is just yummy, yummy, yummy. So I have, what did I say? 3? I think I said I have 3 left of this. I might have 4. I could probably give mine up. I can find something else. But so those are the Snarkometer shawl mystery knit along. She does say, if you are somebody that needs to know all the details, you need to know what stitches are going to be in it, how big it's going to be, how the colors are going to play, this is probably not the thing for you. If you like a little bit of mystery, then maybe it is for you. I really enjoy this. I like that this is kind of an August thing, and then in October, Stephen West does his West Knits shawl, mystery shawl knit along, and I'm sure we'll be doing that too. But this one seems very fun, and it will give me and many of you a chance to play around with this new yarn. So a little bit more about the pattern. What I can tell you is that it uses size 6 and size 4 needles. And she says it's good for intermediate beginner. A lot of times she has ways to either add a little bit more intricacy to a section or make it a little bit simpler. So don't be intimidated about that. I don't like surprises, but I want to make something with that enchanted. Yes, Tammy, I was going to say exactly what Melissa just said to you. If you like the colors in the kit, there is no hard and fast rule that says you have to make that project. There's also no hard and fast rule that says you can't wait 6 weeks and see what everybody else's looks like and then go from there. I did that before I owned the shop. I did that with a mystery knit along. It actually was similar to the one that Christina's doing, that Journey to Pearl Island. I did Follow Your Arrow, and each week had option A or option B, and I was not daring enough to just pick one blindly. So I would wait until a few people had a section done, and then I'd go in on Ravelry and look at people's projects. I cheated a little bit, but that's okay. If you want to have the peace of mind that you're going to love when it's done, it's okay. No judgment. Again, has to be easier than the last mystery I did, the dreaded brioche. Oh, Mary, thank you so much. Okay, so that is what is coming up. And oh, I didn't get a chance to show you last week because it didn't come last week. My third custom yarn for the shop. I can't even believe I have a whole pile of it sitting right here and I completely almost forgot it. So my third yarn from Brenda and Heather finally came in. Brenda and Heather have done 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth custom color that I've had them do for us for the shop. And they do, they primarily focus on self-striping and gradient yarns. One of the things I love about them is that they will put a picture of what the yarn looks like knit up on the tag. But then because they know how much I appreciate it, they sent me this. So I know I posted a picture about it, a post about it last week because I couldn't wait until today to be able to put it out and show you guys because I loved it. And I wanted it to be available for the yarn crawl. I do have a handful left of each base. So the Kraken base, Melissa just posted 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 100 grams, 435 yards. That is what the sample is knit up in. So it's a good, sturdy fingering weight sock yarn. Don't let this trap you into thinking you have to knit socks with it. I have a couple ideas on what would be really cool other than socks. Their other base is Twinkle Toes, and it's superwash merino, nylon, and sparkle. So it's a very, very muted sparkle. I don't even know if you guys can see it on here. You could kind of see the ridiculous one, but not really. So maybe every once in a while you can see a little bit of sparkle in there. Different yarns take the dye a little bit differently too. You can see that. The Twinkle Toes one is a little bit less intense in color, and then their Kraken, like the sturdy sock base, took the color a little bit more intensely. Both will still give you that same stripe. So they are $32.99. The color is Saginaw Awesome. Saginaw Awesome. Saginaw Awesome. I love that each of the dyers named their yarns. And so we've got Saginaw Awesome, Saginaw Sunset, and the ridiculous one was, she just called Saginaw, but I'm calling it Saginaw Sparkle because it's all sparkly. Yeah, so $32.99 a skein. If I think I've got 10 of the sparkle and 11 of the non-sparkle left. So put in the comments or call the shop or message us and let us know if there is 1 or 2 or 3 that you want. There's a pattern called the Sock Arms Sweater. I'll give Melissa a minute to look that one up. That's a really cool design with a solid body, and then you use sock yarn to knit the sleeves. That would be really cool with this if you had that as your sleeves. The other project that we really love, and I think it's a great way to feature a really interesting hand-dyed yarn, is the Typhoon. So there's the Typhoon shawl. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago because somebody saw it behind me. This pattern uses 1 skein of fingering weight in a solid and then 1 of self-striping yarn. So yes, it's short rows, but it's not, I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I knit this. It's not really like a wrap and turn style short rows, because when you're working with the self-striping yarn, you're just kind of working your way across these little bits. It's a very cleverly written pattern, and it would be great, great, great with this yarn. So I was pulling, Karen was pulling a lot of color options. I pulled a couple because I thought there were some really neat options for a scarf like that or a shawl like that. So I thought this would be really fun. to pull kind of the little bit of the gray, the black and gray speckles in there. So this is Heritage Silk. These are $18 a skein. Again, let us know if you see something. I've got a handful of those. The blue, it's the same blue I used in my summer shandy, but look at how it matches up in there. Heritage Silk Peruvian tones, 85% superwash merino, 15% silk. That would be really neat. If you wanted to go the more muted route, there's this Heritage Solids, and it's like this bluey gray. This is a little pet peeve of mine. If you look online, Cascade will give you color names. If you look on the label, they give you color numbers. So it's color 5686, which doesn't really mean anything to anybody other than something to reference. But that gets you kind of that bluey gray. There's like this orange sherbet. That would look beautiful with it. That would give you a very similar look. Obviously, you'd still get the bright blues instead of the purples, but it would give you a very similar look to that. And then the other one Karen was playing around with was the alpaca Juniper Moon Harriet Fine Baby Alpaca Nylon sock yarn. So you get kind of that deeper indigo bluey color in there. So lots of ideas. I might be making another one of these. This is my problem, is I want to make all the samples with all of the custom yarns, but then I only have it for a certain amount of time and then they're gone. But I do like having, I put up on the wall, let's see if I can show you guys without causing too much of a mess here. I put, over there, you see them? Those are the custom yarns that I've had done in the past from Brenda and Heather. So I do think it's kind of fun for, whoops, now everything's falling. I'm a mess, you guys, I tell you what. Good enough. I do like having something knit up to be able to show off what the yarn looks like, so people could see when they come into the shop what we've done in the past. So I'll have the knit night scarf and the fingerless mitts from the Ridiculous. So I may end up doing this. Or let's see, oh, Melissa just posted a pattern for a self-striping ponytail hat. That would be really neat. My mom has done a couple sweaters. I think they're called Knit Me Baby One More Time. There, it's Lyrical Knits Marianarella pattern that uses, I think it uses self-striping across the top and then maybe on the cuffs down at the bottom and then a solid for the body. Lots of options with self-striping yarn. And of course, socks. Lots of socks would be really, really cool too. Even just a tube scarf. Spectra. Oh, is that a Stephen West one? That looks like a Stephen West one, Melissa. I can't see the way it linked on there. But yes, that would be a really cool one too for self-striping. Okay, so what other new yarn? Oh, I had the Dream in Color Socket Club first month come in and go so quickly between pre-orders and people buying them in the store. I have one left. I don't even think I had it to show everybody last week. It came in, I have one left. So this is, our shop signed up for Dream in Colors 2 fall clubs they have. So their Socket Club comes with 100 grams skein of smushy without cashmere. So it's 75-25, nope, 85-15 superwash merino nylon. And then a little mini skein, 100-yard mini skein for your contrast color. We will get a shipment of the sock, these little sock kits, August, September, October, and November. If you want to pre-order September, October, or November, they are on the website. They're at a discounted price before they arrive, and then they're full price once they're here. So this one is $37.50. It was inspired by the gardens in Chicago and the bean. I don't know if there's got to be a real name for that thing, but you guys know. But this little mini was one of their most popular colors from last year, or very similar to it. Anything in the shop that has a gold label means I cannot order it again. So keep that in mind when you're looking at things around the shop or other shops. If you see something you like, you should probably snag it. So I have one of those. If anybody is interested, let us know and I will make sure I set that aside. Holly, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure I have yours set aside too. Yes. Okay, so that's the stuff that's coming up. I guess the last thing I have to talk about is what we did over the weekend, how we supported small business. I did post yesterday that Victoria and I went out to 989 Cafe. Yes. Holly had to correct me last week on it, but I have it written down, 989 Cafe. And I actually I grabbed one of their menus so I wouldn't forget. Oh, Melissa, the Shiprock too. That's one of the ones that I have done in the past with my self-striping, and I think it would be a really cool one to do this time too. Sorry, my one earbud's dying. So we went to 989 Cafe. 989 Cafe is the mashup of City Cafe and 989 Pharmacy that used to both be here in the marketplace. City Cafe was a coffee pastry shop, and 989 Pharmacy made sandwiches and salads with a lot of pretty much all locally sourced products. They joined forces and found it's a big location out in Shields that accommodates everything they need, so they can do their baking right there. They're doing charcuterie classes, all kinds of stuff. So we went there. Yeah, they have charcuterie, they do catering. They're open 7 days a week. So we always appreciate a place that's open on Sunday so Victoria and I can go there. But definitely worth checking out. Their address is 7194 Gratiot. For those of you that are familiar with my old location out in Shields, it's like kitty corner by the Tractor Supply. It's a really great spot. The setup they have in there is fantastic. Food's really good. Coffee's good. So we went there yesterday, and then we went out to Backwoods Blueberries in Hemlock, a blueberry farm. We went picking. I think we were there, I don't know, we maybe spent an hour or an hour and a half picking berries. We were able to time it so it wasn't raining, but it wasn't that crazy hot, sunny, humid yet. So we were able to pick a decent amount of blueberries in a fairly short period of time without dying of heat stroke. Backwoods Blueberries, though, is owned by Victoria's former teacher, her fourth grade teacher. She and her husband bought that farm a few years back, and they've just been doing fantastic things with it. And of course, we came away with more than blueberries. We bought some blueberry donuts. And then Make and Bacon was out there. Our friends at Make and Bacon, they have a food truck, and they also have a spot here in the market. They had the food truck out there, so we got lunch from them. And it's so indulgent, but it's so good. They have this, they call it the whole hog special. So it's this bowl with their homemade mac and cheese, and it's like the corkscrew noodles, the really good one, creamy one. And then a scoop of slow roasted pulled pork on top, and barbecue sauce and caramelized onions and crumbled bacon. And it's so good. When I always struggle when people come into the market and they ask me what's good or what they should try. I love it all. But if you really want some just like comfort food that's just creamy and delicious, get the whole hog. It's really good. Victoria and I got the large and we split it. They do it. Barbara does it, serves it in a way where you get the dish and then she'll give you one of those cardboard boats where you can just dump it out and then really get into everything. For somebody who does not like their food to mix at all, I like it. Granted, I do have casseroles and that's kind of the same thing, but for those of you that don't have a problem with that, you'll probably like it even more. So if you've been to the market and you haven't tried the food at Make and Bacon, make sure you do that because Barbara, one of the owners, is a knitter also. So she supports us, we support her, and all the other businesses here. I think that is it. I know we are a couple weeks away, but I will mention now, and I'll try to mention it as we lead up to it. I will not be doing a video on Labor Day. Heck, if the rate I'm going, I'll probably forget to even put out the event pages for the next couple days, but I will try. But I hope everybody has a great weekend or great week. It's only Monday. Get some things done, cast some things on. Tell me if you have ideas on things we could do with the self-striping yarn, projects you might like to see us feature in the future, designers you like, dyers you think we should look into. I love input. I love it all. I want to know what makes you all happy. What makes me happy is making you guys happy. So in your knitting and otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Be creative, be inspired, inspire others, and just have a great time. All right. I will talk to you all very soon. Come in and see me, message the shop, call the shop. Either way. I hope you have a great week. All right. Bye.